Oh, look at that. There's half the ocean. So as you saw in the last video, we picked up this Renault Megane for £750. Now, it's only cheap because it has a few problems and it has quite a few miles on the clock. So what we're going to do in today's video is try and get a few issues sorted so that it's a nicer car for me to drive while I'm driving it to work, and also so it has better resale value when I go to try and flip it for profit. Right, let's get straight into it. So the first thing that needs to get sorted is the fact that the service history is quite lacking. So what I'm going to do is give it a nice service and make sure that everything has been done, and that will look good when I go to sell it. Now, in order to service it, the first thing I need to do is actually jack the car up. So I've got my new Halfords Advanced Jack. I'm going to get the car jacked up on both sides and then put on axle stands, and then it should be ready for its service. Now, I don't know if you can see me, but the first thing that actually needs changing here is I've got to take the under tray off so that I can access everything I need. And that is just some 10mm bolts, which I'm hoping to get off nice and easy. Okay, with the under tray off, I can get a better look under here. And it's kind of hard to see, but it definitely looks like a little bit of an oil leak. It's not excessive, definitely a bit of an oil leak. I'm going to get cleaned up and wiped down so I can see where it's coming from, hopefully. Okay, so the next step is to get the old oil out of the car. I've got my catch pan there, I've got the new oil to go in. What I did have to do is go to Halfords quickly to pick up an 8mm kind of square socket that goes into the sump plug of the oil sump, so I can actually get the plug out and drain the oil. So now I've got it, let's get it undone and get the old oil out. Hopefully you can see it's literally just here where my finger is. What I do need, because I know people commented last time, is some gloves. Oh, there we go. All over my hands. That is coming out very black. I'm going to get rid of this glove as well. There you go. All the oil inside the glove, nice and neat. So it is dirty, but there's no metal shavings, so that is a good sign. Okay, so coming from above, what I need to do is, it's a bit hard to see, but the oil filter is down in there. Just loosen it. It literally, I've already tested it, and it's literally only on hand tight, so I can literally take it off my hand nice and easy. Just going to stuff the rag underneath it to catch any of the oil, loose oil that might come out. Fully take it off. There we go. Oh, try not to. Oh, great. Literally drop the oil filter straight into the pan of oil at the bottom. That was not the intention, but that's exactly what happened. And spilt oil everywhere. Great. So I've got the new Crosslands oil filter. I'm going to install this one and put in some fresh oil, and I'll come back once I've done that. It's literally a simple case of just screwing it on and topping it up. That is the old sump plug and washer. These are the lovely new washers I've bought from Halfords just to replace it, and then this can get screwed back in, and then I can top the oil up from above. Okay, so next up we've got the air filter, which needs to go in over here, just two Phillips head bits holding it in place. Got to take the battery cover off to get access to it, and then it's onto the spark plugs 1, 2, 3 and 4. Should be super easy. I'm going to time lapse the whole thing. Should get it done super quick, hopefully before the rain comes in. Now, taking the old spark plugs out, I had a bit of a scare because when I did, they were absolutely covered in oil. The coil packs and the spark plugs themselves were covered in quite a lot of oil. Thankfully, what I think this is actually just really old oil that was spilt all over the engine, kind of seeped its way in when I've been taking them out. There's no obvious clear leaks inside the actual where the spark plugs are, so hopefully it's all okay and just some old oil that's been spilt. Now, I had to cut filming short there because the Great British weather decided to roll on in and start pouring it down. So I just want to show you quickly what it sounds like when it starts up. Now, I did expect it to start rough just because of some of that oil that leaked into the spark plugs area. I did try and clean most of it, but inevitably there will be some left in there. And then we put the clutch down, press start. Oh. So as you can hear, it sounded pretty rough on startup and a load of smoke came out of the back, as expected with oil burning. However, once it got past that, it started running really smooth. Just listen. Because once it's running like it is now, it sounds great. I'll let you listen. Quick side note, it's actually a few weeks later that I'm editing this and I have noticed it keeps making this sound and dying sometimes on startup. I've got a sneaking feeling it's the rocker cover gasket that actually does need replacing. Anyway, back to the video. Okay, so it's a new day now and we're back with the Renault. The weather is slightly better today. The next major problem with this car is actually quite fitting the fact that it's blue, is it's like driving an aquarium, because every time I turn the corner there's a massive slosh of water. Now what I'm assuming the problem is that the drains within the scuttle panel are all blocked, or it could be something else, but I'm going to look at that first and see if we can get it cleared. That way it will stop all the water going into the footwell, which is not ideal. So first things first, I'm going to get it unlocked, and while it's got a little bit of sun out, I'm going to try and open the windows and doors to get it dried out a bit in there because it's got quite wet. So if we come into the car, in here, the lighting might not be the best, but there's this little under storage here and you can literally see how much water is there. I don't even have to squish it. You just see how much water is sat in here. It's pretty bad. Not even an exaggeration. Literally water started pouring out of the footwell the other day when we turned a corner. So we definitely need to get this problem sorted. So looking at here, this is the plastic scuttle panel. We need to take this off to get access. There's a clip here on this side and the same on the other side over there. I need to take those first off, then I need to take the wipers off, and then this whole panel should just pop out. This literally should. Got to watch out for this other part of here. Should just slide out, and then on this side, get this out of the way. If we take a look in here, there is my aquarium. That is a joke. There's literally so much water. I bet there is probably some like life forms growing in there. That is ridiculous. So because it's all on the right hand side, I know the car's tilted this way at the moment, but we're going to unclog both sides, that one and that one. There's a drain on both sides. If I literally this is gross, but I'm going to use my hand. Can you hear all that pouring out? There's literally just a pile of poo. So yeah, look at all this water coming out, and that's not all of it. That's literally just a small amount. If I clearing, oh look at there's half the ocean coming out of this thing. That is ridiculous. Having now removed the Pacific Ocean from the car, the next step is to make sure that this doesn't happen again. So using my hand and a screwdriver, I just get the rest unclogged, and then I took a bucket of soapy water to just run it all through and make sure it was fully unclogged. Now, whenever we turned left and right and had the heating blowers on, it made a horrible sound. Now, I think water was getting into the electrical part and causing issues. So I'm hoping this isn't broken, and that maybe it just blew a fuse. I know they weren't working previously, but they might work now. You should get blowers. Oh, okay, so the blowers do still work. They obviously just really tripped last time with the water. So that is a big win, as it means I don't have to replace a blower motor or any fuses. It just seems to be working again. I've got the scuttle pan back on and the rubber seal, the rubber trim that was on there. Now I put this white tape on here so I can see exactly where it's supposed to sit. Let's just get that down flat first, and then it should be about here. And then yeah, just screw that bolt back on. And then put the cap on here. And lovely. One of the things I mentioned when I picked up the car was when I tried the rear washer fluid, the motor was going, but no fluid was coming out. I've just been playing around. If I push it away from me, if I push it for long enough, you can kind of see it is coming out the back. I've just used up probably the majority of the wiper fluid, but that means it is working. And so the person who commented about it potentially leaking into the footwells think we might be okay. Luckily, the line isn't corroded. Just takes a little while to get there, but it works. So no issues there, and £0 added to the fixing costs on this car. So I'm very happy with that one. Right, let's move on to the next problem. Okay, next problem, which should be a very quick fix, fingers crossed, is if we take a look under the bonnet, the coolant is literally below the minimum level. So what I'm going to do is just get some coolant and top it up. Okay, so like I mentioned, we're going to do the coolant, and I thought while I'm here, I might as well top up the screen wash. So I've got my two very vibrant solutions to go in the car. Now, I'm not sure how much it needs exactly. I'm pretty sure it should come right up to the top basically, but that will do for now. And next we got the coolant.
Now, when it came to adding the coolant, I added the whole jug and then it seemed to gargle back down to the point it started at. Now, I don't know if there's maybe a coolant leak somewhere. However, the temperatures have never gone above what they're meant to while driving, even on a long drive. So I don't think that's right. I think maybe it just needs even more coolant. Maybe it was just really, really low. But if you're watching this and this screams like it's a big issue for you, please let me know down in the comments. Okay, up next, let's try and fix the issue that I mentioned in the last video to do with the third gear.
One of the slightly bigger issues I'm a bit more concerned about is when driving it, is when I put it into third gear, just listen to the sound it makes. Give it a bit of power. You can hear the third gear there. It gives a little bit of resistance. Like, it's nothing too major. It's not making any like awful noises or anything like that, but it's showing signs that something could be wrong. So as I mentioned in the previous video, third gear is a little bit iffy. And so what I'm going to do is do a transmission oil change. So changing the gearbox oil. Hopefully that fixes the problem. And I did notice when doing the service that the transmission might have a slight leak, which might mean that it's low. And so hopefully that's a problem with my third gear. Okay, that is the car up in the air, ready to go. The under tray is already off from where I took it off for the service. And I've got my square sump plug key, which will let me get the transmission out. Got the catch pan as well to catch the old oil. Should just be as easy as draining it now. There you go. Single crack. Oh, there's me trying to be quick. That is the oil drained, and to me it doesn't actually look like very much. I know it's only supposed to be like 1.9 litres, but that doesn't seem like very much. A good thing to note is that there was no metal shavings, nothing that came out. So that is a good sign. What I'm going to do is I'm going to clean the threads on the old plug, clean the threads on the actual sump itself, and then put a new copper washer on here. That is it there. Clean threads and a new copper washer. All right, I'm videoing this on my phone, so it might not be the best, but hopefully this gives an idea of what I've got to do. So going in here, you can see that white plastic toggle bang in the middle of the camera. That needs to be turned and taken out, and that's where I fill it back up from. A bit of a pain if I zoom out to where I'm trying to get in from. I've turned the wheel to give better access. I mean, I could take the wheel off, but this should be fine.
Just to give you an idea of what it's like to work on your car outside in the UK, this is how bipolar the weather is.
Okay, we're back with phone cam. You can see I've managed to get a big 8mm Allen key in there, and that's enough to, you can see the white plug spinning in the end there. Very much stuck in there. So until it starts pouring out of that silver part, that's when I know it's full. All right, quick update. I managed to get most of it in using the bottles, which was a lot easier. I do have this syringe, which is up to 200 mils. So just gonna put the last of the bottle in using this, which should hopefully be a bit easier. Quick update. I did manage to get the cap off, get it all filled in, and put the cap back on. It was a bit of a struggle with the tight space, and I had so much stuff dripping on my head. Not ideal, but it should all be done now, and it did pour out after adding the full 2 litres. So I think we're all good in terms of getting that transmission oil changed. Just got to get it jacked up and then take the axle stands out, get it back on the floor, and just run the engine, make sure it's all good. Perfect. Okay, so I almost forgot to put the under tray back on, so that's now been done, and that should be it for now. Hopefully that has fixed all of the kind of main issues with the car, and yeah, we can actually put the bonnet down now. So I know the video just kept chopping and changing to different parts I was fixing, but I think that's all I can cram in today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I think the Megane is making good progress. We are definitely getting there in terms of getting this thing ready to be sold, and also making it a nicer commuter car for me in the meantime. But that's it for this video. If you did enjoy, please give it a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.